Hey guys, you might wonder why I'm in bed. I explained that in my little update news video. Basically, I am sore, not wanting to move all that much. I am tired, so hey, bed. And I am cold, despite there being heat in the house. Just needing to toast myself warm again. Happens when you get chilled to the bone or whatever. But that's why I'm actually doing this in bed, instead of over there where my studio normally is. Anyway, last night I went to see Ghostbusters Afterlife in theaters. The new sequel, like 30, 40 years detached from the original. And it's unlike some other attempts to reboot the franchise, this was a sequel to specifically the first movie. It ignores Ghostbusters 2 and anything else that followed. But it did seem to be a loving tribute to the events of the first movie. Oh, it's a tag. Okay. Not to get too much into spoilers, though I probably should. It is full of wonderful fan service, nostalgia bait, but that's not all it is. Don't think that that's all it is. This actually is a pretty solid movie. It does what I think sequels and reboots should do. Lovingly tribute where it came from, but still try to build for the future. And it's not as funny, but I think it needed to take itself a little bit more seriously this time around, to not only reestablish everything with the modern audience, because it is trying to reboot as well as sequel, but also it's like there's different standards. The old 80s movies, you could get away with a lot more comedy in your action things. I mean, the ultimate thing is, I had fun in this with watching this movie. I enjoyed myself. I was entertained. I didn't really cringe at the jokes, except the ones that were designed to be cringed to. There's a good series of intentionally bad, corny jokes that some of them I actually legitimately liked without having to, with no bit of irony, and that just tells me how much of an uncle I am. Uncle and dad jokes are very, very similar after all. And I enjoyed those. So, yeah, they were intentionally bad jokes, but I actually laughed at a few. Anyway, this is without many spoilers, this is a loving tribute to the late Harold Ramis, who played Dr. Egon Spangler out of the original Ghostbusters cast. And it follows the main character, I guess you could call her the main character, is the granddaughter of Egon. I think she's like 12 or something. But, yeah, it follows Egon's granddaughter. And they find some of the old Ghostbusters gear in Egon's old house, and stuff just sure does happen. It ultimately leads to their new adventure that can make their brand new team. That if they continued this series, if they decided to take this movie as a springboard for like a Netflix series or just more movies, that would be fine. I think that'd be perfectly fine. I enjoyed it. I don't want to get into the politics that people were trying to cram into it, especially when comparing it to the 2016 all gender flipped reboot, which a lot of the audience really hated, and a lot of the critics loved. This movie is the opposite. The critics seem to hate it, and the audience is adoring it. But enough of those politics. That's not what this channel's about. Anyway, point is, I enjoyed it. I can recommend Ghostbusters Afterlife to you. And, I don't even think there's much more I can actually say. If you're a fan of the first Ghostbusters, if you're a really big fan of first Ghostbusters, please, by all means, go see Afterlife. I think you will very much enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. My opinion may have been skewed by me being incredibly tired after work, but I get the feeling I'd watch it again and I'd love it. But because I can list the reasons why I loved it, so there you go. And I think whether you're a fan of the original movie or you're wanting to try to get into it with fresh eyes, I think Afterlife is a movie worth your consideration. I really think you can really get something out of it. And hope you enjoy it. If you go see it, I hope you enjoy it, of course. And I hope to see you next time whenever I do something. And until then, stay tuned.